The Subway's situation just got worse. What started with a ridiculous increase in pricing eventually became bad chemicals on our sandwiches and then grew into a much bigger and darker problem. A problem that can destroy Subway forever. Let's break down exactly how it happened. You ever walk into a Subway and feel like something's off? Like you're standing inside the ghost of what used to be a good idea? The lights are too bright. The smell is too strong. It's like that smell of almost freshness. There was a time when Subway meant something. The clean glass counter. The build-your-own sandwiches. It felt adult, like you were making a smart choice. While everyone else was eating greasy burgers, you were choosing turkey breast and spinach. It was the healthy fast food, the one you could eat without guilt. But now, you look at that same counter, and it's just a lineup of lies sitting under fluorescent lights. Because fresh isn't fresh anymore. It's branding, it's marketing, it's a perfume sprayed on old bread. Remember when Ireland literally ruled that Subway's bread couldn't legally be called bread? The sugar content was so high it was legally considered cake. They sold us dessert disguised as dinner. And that's not even the worst part. It's the symbolism of it. That's what Subway does best. They don't sell food, they sell ideas. Eat fresh was never about ingredients, but reality always leaks through. Like the tuna story that just refuses to die. First it was a rumor, then a lab test, then a lawsuit. No tuna DNA detected. People laughed, Subway denied it, and still, it stuck. Because deep down, everyone already knew something wasn't right. Even when the lawsuit got dismissed last month, it didn't matter. The damage is done. Once we start doubting what's in your tuna, we start doubting everything. And now there's another lawsuit, a class action saying Subway grossly misled customers by showing sandwiches stuffed with meat, when in real life, they were barely half filled. Steak and cheese ads looked like towers of protein, but the actual sandwich was this thin, sad slab of bread and disappointment. The lawsuit even compared it to inflation, because when groceries are expensive, the last thing we want is to feel cheated out of lunch. It's not new either. This is the same company that gave us the foot-long scandal. Those 11-inch footlongs that turned into memes for years. They laughed it off like a joke. But that's how trust dies. Not in one explosion, but in 1,000 small cuts of corporate dishonesty. Even behind the counter, it's chaos. Franchise owners are now suing Subway's own supply chain for racketeering. So when Subway says, "Eat fresh," it's not a promise anymore. It's a punchline. A hollow slogan echoing through stores filled with frozen dough and chemically preserved vegetables. I think everyone has a memory like this. You're trying to eat better. Maybe you're broke, or tired of feeling heavy, or just trying to do one thing right. So you walk into Subway. You tell yourself, "Yeah, I'm not gonna get a burger today. I'm gonna eat clean." That's the emotional magic they built their empire on. Guilt-free fast food. You'd stand at that counter watching your sandwich being made, feeling a little proud of yourself. The lettuce looks fresh. The cucumbers sparkle under the lights. It's all theater. You're not buying health. You're buying the feeling of control. And then you check the numbers. A 6-inch turkey sub, 1,000 milligrams of sodium. A chicken teriyaki? Full of sugar. Add sauce, cheese, and chips, and you're eating more calories than a Big Mac meal. They've been lying through optics. That glass counter wasn't transparency. It was camouflage. And we all fell for it because we wanted to believe it. Because in a world where everything's processed, we cling to anything that looks real. Subway knew that. They weaponized it. Even after the Jared Fogle scandal, one of the ugliest public implosions in advertising history, Subway kept selling the dream. And the irony? The so-called Jared diet wasn't even healthy. Nutritionists were calling it out years before the scandal broke. The bread was loaded with chemicals like azotocarbonamide, the same one used in yoga mats. Subway swore they removed it later, but by then, everyone had seen behind the curtain. It's not that we don't want to eat healthy. It's that we don't want to be lied to while trying. And Subway's whole empire was built on that lie. Even in 2023, labs found traces of added sugar in their supposedly lean roasted chicken and turkey. The bread, ounce for ounce, was sweeter than donuts. Yet they still plaster "Eat Fresh" across every ad, every window, every wrapper. But freshness isn't the same as goodness. Subway's food is fresh in the way a frozen pizza is homemade. It's a word stripped of meaning. We live in a time when we are tired of being tricked. When a brand lies about something as simple as bread, it's not just a lie, it's an insult. Because we don't walk into Subway looking for luxury. We walk in because they're tired, broke, hungry, and trying to make a decent choice. Subway exploited that trust. I think there used to be a kind of poetry in that jingle, $5 footlong. It wasn't just a deal, it was a little piece of working-class comfort. You could feed yourself for a $5. No shame, no corners cut. It felt fair. It felt simple. Now, that world is gone. You walk into Subway today, and a basic sub is 12, 13, 14 pounds once you add a drink. That's not lunch. That's robbery. And you can feel it in the air. The customers aren't cheerful anymore. They're confused, staring at the menu, trying to do mental math. Wait, how much is a footlong now? The employee gives that tired corporate smile. It depends on which bread. Everything depends on something now. The bread, the sauce, the cheese. Every choice feels like a hidden fee. The $5 footlong died, but Subway didn't hold a funeral. They quietly buried it under series menus and fresh forward renovations that nobody asked for. They painted the walls warmer colors, added digital boards, gave sandwiches new names, but nothing actually improved. Even the people who own the stores are angry. The North American Association of Subway Franchisees has gone public, saying the company is forcing owners to spend $100,000 per location on remodels they can't afford. One franchisee called it a corporate ATM withdrawal. That's how deep it's gotten. The people inside the brand are accusing it of financial abuse. Meanwhile, the competition moved on. Jersey Mike's, Panera, Firehouse Subs, they're offering what Subway pretends to be: quality, real ingredients, actual freshness. People taste the difference now. Subway keeps trying to disguise decline with branding. They rename the same sandwich, tweak the logo, call it a revamp. But you can't rebrand trust. You can't decorate your way out of decay. Because people remember how it felt, how easy it used to be, how, back then, you could walk into a Subway and feel like you were winning at adulthood, saving money, eating healthy, being smart. Now, you walk in and it feels like failure, like being tricked by nostalgia. You unwrap your sandwich and it's thin. The bread's soft in the wrong places. The tomato slice looks like it's seen war. The meat's cold. You take a bite and it's fine. Not awful, but not worth it. And that's the death of a brand, when people stop feeling anything at all. Subway used to mean something. Now it just means, it'll do. And that's worse than hate. That's indifference. Because once people stop caring, once they start walking past your store without even looking in, there's no lawsuit, no rebrand, no jingle that can save you. You can feel it, can't you? That slow death of a brand. It's not loud. It's not explosive. It's just silence. Empty chairs, flickering menu screens, employees staring at their phones because nobody's coming in. Subway's not collapsing. It's decaying. Quietly. Patiently. Like something left out overnight. The truth is, Subway didn't just lose customers, it got out-evolved. While Subway was too busy fighting lawsuits and repainting stores, the world changed around it. People got smarter, food got better, and new players stepped in. Places like Jersey Mike's, Panera, Firehouse Subs. They took what Subway pretended to do and actually did it. Walk into a Jersey Mike's, and you can smell real meat being sliced right there. Bread that doesn't taste like sugar. Staff that look like they care about what they're serving. Firehouse Subs gives you toasted bread that actually crunches, loaded with flavor and not shame. Panera brought the fresh aesthetic Subway invented and turned it into something aspirational. You don't go to Panera because it's cheap. You go because it feels like self-respect. Meanwhile, Subway just kept cheapening everything. Their ingredients, their labor, their reputation. And every time someone else innovated, Subway doubled down on cutting corners. When Chipotle introduced real sourcing transparency, Subway pushed new, foot-long cookies. When other chains started promoting local produce, Subway was busy arguing in court that their bread was legally sugar cake. And here's the thing, people notice now. Because the world isn't 2006 anymore. You can't just throw words like fresh, or artisan, or real on a poster and expect people not to Google it. You can't run fake ads with triple meat and hope no one posts the comparison photo online. Subway once had the largest number of restaurant locations in the world, over 40,000. But numbers mean nothing when people stop believing. Franchisees started closing one after another. Not because the idea was bad, but because the trust was gone. Because customers stopped craving Subway. They started avoiding it. And that's what kills a food brand. Not a scandal. Not a bad year. Boredom. When you stop being part of people's lives, you stop existing. Subway became background noise. You walk past one every day. But when was the last time you actually walked in? When was the last time you said, "I'm craving Subway"? It's not hate. It's emptiness. You don't hate Subway. You just don't care anymore. And that's what competition understood. They made people feel something. Pride, comfort, quality. Subway made them feel duped. And once a brand crosses that line, there's no way back. This isn't just about sandwiches anymore. It's about betrayal. Because Subway wasn't supposed to be like the others. It was the good guy of fast food. The one you could eat without guilt. The one that made you feel like you were choosing right. That's what makes the downfall sting so much. It wasn't just bad food. It was broken trust. The same slogan that once made people feel better about themselves, "Eat fresh," now feels like a joke. Because everything around it is falling apart. Behind the scenes, it's lawsuits everywhere. Labor violations in Los Angeles. 10-year employees suing for unpaid wages. Another class action in Illinois last month over overtime and minimum wage. The kind of stories that show you the rot isn't just in the bread, it's in the whole system. And the franchisees? They're trapped. Subway's fresh forward remodels sound nice, until you realize they cost $100,000 per store. Out of pocket. No financial help. No choice. It's mandatory. Like corporate blackmail with pastel lighting. Franchise owners say it's a money grab, a corporate ATM. And when your own partners are describing you like that, the writing's on the wall. Then there's the RICO lawsuit, the one that could tear the supply chain apart. They're being accused of running a scheme that inflated ingredient costs and crippled franchisees with fake emergency expenses. That's not just poor management, that's organized dysfunction. If proven true, it's one of the biggest fast food scandals in history. So, you've got fake bread, fake tuna, fake health claims, fake ads, fake partnerships, and then Subway wonders why no one believes in it anymore. The irony? It didn't have to be this way. Subway had everything it needed to survive. Name recognition, global presence, nostalgia. But greed always finds a way to rot a good idea from the inside out. Now, the cracks are everywhere. Customer complaints flooding Facebook groups, rude staff, missing ingredients, botched orders. People posting pictures of half-empty subs, captioned, "This cost me 13 pounds." That's not marketing. That's humiliation. And yet, the executives keep pretending, talking about innovation, about expanding in new markets. But you can't expand a hollow brand. It's like pumping air into a balloon that's already popped. What Subway doesn't understand is that trust is the real currency. Once it's gone, you can't print more. You can't litigate it back into existence. You can't sue your way into being liked again. It's strange, watching a brand die like this. Not with explosions or headlines, just slow decay. Empty chairs, fading paint, discount coupons that feel like cries for help. And it's not just Subway. It's what it represents. The death of affordable food that used to feel honest. The death of that little ritual where you could walk in, talk to someone behind the counter, and feel like you were part of something real. Now it's corporate uniformity, plastic smiles, bread that tastes like paperwork. You walk in, and it's not a restaurant anymore. It's a machine pretending to feed people. A place where the word fresh got stretched so far it lost all meaning. And what hurts most? We all wanted Subway to win. We rooted for it. Because it wasn't McDonald's, it wasn't KFC, it was the healthy one. It was supposed to be the safe choice. But safety doesn't sell anymore. Authenticity does. And Subway forgot how to be real. That's why people are leaving. They're not angry. They're disappointed. There's a difference. Anger can fade. Disappointment lingers. It's in every overpriced sandwich, every soggy tomato slice, every empty promise behind that green and yellow logo. So maybe Subway doesn't die tomorrow. Maybe it limps along for years, living off old habits and nostalgia. But it's not alive anymore. Not in the way that matters. Because brands don't die when they close stores. They die when people stop believing in the story. And Subway's story? It used to be about freshness, health, choice. Now it's about lies, lawsuits, and loneliness. And that's the saddest part. They didn't just lose the recipe. They lost the reason. So next time you walk past a Subway, look inside for a moment. The half-empty tables. The blank stare of the person behind the counter. The quiet hum of a fridge that used to mean something. That's not a sandwich shop anymore. That's a museum of missed chances. A relic of when fresh meant something, of when $5 could still buy you dignity. And now, it's all gone. Subway didn't just ruin its own brand, it ruined the idea that fast food could still be honest. That's the real tragedy here. Not the lawsuits, not the prices, but the slow, quiet death of trust.